Hey everybody, this is Lord Magicus, and this is the final round of Merfolk in Modern. We are on the play, so let's see what we're up against here. This hand is great, we'll keep this. Can probably tick this vial up to 3, that'll be fine. They mull to 6, that's a good sign. Oh, fuck. Mull to 5, excellent. I want my play points back, damn it. Ley Line of Sanctity, so we might be up against Oops All spells. Alright, which means we probably need to adapt this Benthic Biomancer. Yeah, this is 1000% Oops All spell, so we need to find Deprive. Okay, we will play... How do we want to go about doing this? Think there's like no chance that we attack with mutable. No, there actually might be. I don't think it matters, but I'm definitely going to adapt this Biomancer. So, and then we'll Violin Lord, maybe copy it with Blast Pool. Because we need to do something. We have to find a Deprive before they get to 4 mana, basically. Okay, well, now I probably have to bounce this because they'll just win next turn. So, unless I find Deprive off of this thing. I guess I discard the Trickster. I have to Petty Theft this now. Petty Theft buys us one more turn to find Deprive. Alright. Activate this. The Vengevines will definitely kill us here. They can replay this thing, and we have exactly one chance to find it. If I draw a land, I can copy this Benthic and then try to find Deprive off of it. Yeah, okay. Oh, maybe, you know what, now that I think about it, I probably... Okay, so now I have to hope they don't have a 4th untapped land. So, here... Actually, can I just kill them right now? They're at 11. This is 11 damage, right? Okay. Okay, so maybe... Okay, so we actually race them because they shocked themselves with this thing. Okay, cool. We race them. That works. I don't know why they, like, hurt themselves with that, right? That seemed unnecessary to take the 3 damage off of this. Otherwise, I would have had to have drawn another card. So, like, I would have maybe had one more turn and it wouldn't have done it, so... Okay, that's fine. We're definitely up against Oops All spells. We want Relic. And just in case they bring in Charbelcher, I want the Force, but I don't think that they're going to. So in general, Harbinger is I don't think Harbinger is very good against them, right? Has to be terrible. We need the Deprives, we need the Forces, and we need the Relics. Actually, Damping Matrix is not useless either, because this turns off the Balustrade Spy, I think, right? I think that's the 3 mana one. It might be better than Brazen Borrower. It also stops the Charbelcher if they're on that plan, so I have to take out 3 cards here. I think Harbinger can come out, and we have to take out one more. Take out 1 Glasspool Mimic. Then we are at 21 land still. I think that's fine. The Borrower is sort of okay because it can bounce like their prisms to keep them off of a turn 3, but I think in general it's just a little bit slow. I just want to, like, maybe it's better than Regery, I don't know. I think that our game 2 is going to be very good against this deck. Oh, fuck. Alright. I guess I keep this. They mold a 6. This is not terrible. It's kind of like Legacy, where like against these decks you really just want to put as much pressure on them as you can and like back it up with one interactive spell. In Legacy it used to be stuff like Chalice that could do the trick, maybe with a Force of Will, so it's alright. He's not going to shock himself, or he's not going to bolt himself. Oh, that was a great draw, because that helps us curve into damage a lot. I probably will just pitch the Silver Guild of Force if given the chance. They're on 1 land. That's excellent news for us. Which means if they ever do find a second land, I am 100% forcing a Pentad Prism. And I am just going to... Well, they don't have another thing, so... Merfolk. I think they're in trouble. We are very close to killing them. If I pick up another Lord next turn, they actually die. I should have played Aether Vial. That was a mistake. I don't know if it's going to matter, but technically I should have done that. So here is the thing. I can play Silvergill, but it's not going to actually change anything. I can just attack them, put them to 9. Actually, if I'm putting them or attacking them for 9, turns off them finding another untapped land, so we should just do that. Yeah, I think they're just screwed. Okay, cool. We beat the Oops All Spells deck. And like Oops All Spells, like I said, that matchup is going to be pretty good for us, especially with Deprive main deck over Force, because this card interacts with their deck a lot better. Force does almost nothing against them. Force is only good at slowing. You want to counter the mana rocks with it, because that accelerates them by like a whole turn. Otherwise, like sometimes they bring in Belcher from the sideboard as a plan B if they suspect that you're going to bring in like Relic or something, so Force can be okay there. But in general, like Deprive is the one that you really want, and also Relic is, like I said, turns off their primary plan of the graveyard. I think Damping Matrix actually is pretty good against them too, because it turns off half of their main plan and like all of the Belcher plan if they choose to go that route, so it is a little bit dangerous though to play the Matrix because it turns off our Relic as well. But I don't know. It's better to have it than have that and nothing else. Like, if you have a Relic and a Matrix, you obviously don't need to play the Matrix. Like, you only play it after they play the Belcher because they can't activate it in the same turn. Otherwise, like I said, if you have Relic, you play that and you just don't play this. If you have no Relic and your shields are down, this is at least something that can slow them down. So, overall, so we played against 3 decks where Spreading Seas would have actually helped us. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We didn't play against Heliod Company at all, so we didn't get to see this card do anything, but it's still pretty slow against that deck. I'm not sure how much it's going to help us. Like, previously, I was just playing 2 Cs in the main deck and then, like, Brazen in the sideboard. Honestly, like, maybe we could trim more in Force of Negation. I don't think this is as necessary now as it used to be. Maybe we could play something like Cryptic Command in the sideboard. That's fine to supplement this. Or, the Harbingers, like, I think I like the Harbingers here. It's also possible you can say, screw it, I'm willing to lose to Ensnaring Bridge and cut Borrower. I think Master of Waves, I really like that card in Glasspool Mimic builds, just because it gives... This is one of the few ways that we can actually catch up to ridiculous endgames. If we can ever get to a point where we can cast Master and then Violin Mimic to copy it or something like that, that can actually catch us up against a lot of nonsense, you know, where we're super far behind. So yeah, I don't want to cut that, and it's also good against the prowess deck. It's maybe if we're gonna play master in the main deck, we don't need all the chalices in the sideboard. So like, I don't know, that's possible. Maybe we could cut like 2 of these chalices for some spreading seas or something like that. Maybe, like if we have this against prowess, then maybe we don't need all of these. But I mean, prowess is still going to be very tough, like in general. They do have some answers to chalice, so there's value in having redundant copies. I don't know. I'd have to look at this a little bit more. I mean, I am playing 18 lands and 4 glass pools, but I think it's worth doing it because this is not a land unless you need it to be. So like, functionally, this deck is still gonna only have like 18 lands when it needs 18 lands, and it'll have more than that when we actually need to curve up to 4. I count these for lands for the purposes of constructing my deck, but for the purposes of gameplay, we shouldn't be flooding out too much. This really does help smooth out our mana base, and like we did see a couple games I think where we played like glass pool as a land on turn 1, and then being able to copy a lord later with a second copy of it definitely helped. So, and it can functionally be an extra 1-drop to complement the Biomancer and the Vial. So when we have like hands, like I said, Island, Glass Pool, and 3 Lords, like that's actually a really good hand. You play this in turn 1, play Island on turn 2, that's fantastic. So, yeah, I would suspect that because of the random nature of leagues, we might want to consider jamming 2 more copies of Spreading Seas back into this deck somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where I make room for them, but it feels like that should be the case. I think the Deprives were fine in the main deck. I don't really miss Force from the main versus what we saw. Overall, Borrower is fine. Harbinger didn't do a whole lot. I like it versus the Shadow decks, but maybe it might not be that necessary. I'm not sure. Maybe Deprive can do a little bit more lifting in game 1 if they like tap out for... If they go for a Shadow and we actually have a Deprive to counter it, like that's better than Harbinger in that case, but the window on that's also a lot shorter, so you have to experiment a little bit more. I've been very reluctant to give up this slot, but like the list is kind of tight right now, and I don't want to give up like any of these cards. But yeah, deck building is hard, though. That's my lesson for this week, and especially with the random nature of MTGO. Sometimes you're gonna say, well, Spreading Seas has not been good in most of my matches, and then like the first 3 matches you play, you're like, fuck, I wish I had Spreading Seas. So, but we still went 3-2, and I would say that was a fairly difficult league. We had some uphill matches the whole way. Pulling it out against Tron in that game 1 was pretty fantastic. I don't think there's much we could have done against the Titan deck. Yeah, and like Jund was like, yeah, they had like a really good draw against us, and that's gonna happen sometimes. I don't expect to win every time against Jund. Like they're pretty close to even versus us, maybe slightly favored. It depends on the exact build, so who knows. But that's all I got for this week. Fortunately, I finished this just as I'm starting to fade a little bit. So, everybody, please give this a thumbs up. If you are enjoying the content that I do, I welcome you to subscribe. I try to read all the comments that come in. They matter a lot to me. I don't ask for like money or anything, so I care about your support, and if you're enjoying the content, that's all that matters. However, if you do feel like you really, really love me and you want to show that somehow, you could always go and buy some of the playmats I have linked in the description. Yeah, I've really come to like the Doom one that I did, so I actually have a couple ideas for some new ones I want to work on that might be a little less goofy in nature, I guess. I don't know. Art is like it's kind of like come and go sometimes, but I have a few ideas, but I have no idea if or when I'm going to get to them. Eventually, but probably not like in the next week or 2. It's going to take a little while. But also, if you have stuff that you're interested in, I'm always curious to hear. So I will see you again next week. Take it easy, everybody.